The year is 2039. During major technological revolutions on the planet, many devastating changes have occurred. The effect of brain-machine interfaces, fusion energy, and proto-quantum computers is being felt around the world. Tensions are rising between the United States and China, bringing humanity to the brink of a new and most devastating war. Turkey has become a country that is significantly confident about its technological advancement and is a neutral regional power at its pivot in a confused world order. The episode begins, and we see Kamal, the president of the Wolf Secret Agency, who is in a simulation and talking to his wife. It turns out that he lost his wife and his loved ones years ago. Later, he receives a message from the Red Messenger, telling him to trust the plan. He then separates himself from the simulation and decides that he is going to use his anger and grief for a greater cause. One day, he was going to some unspecified place for some work in his electric car but got stuck in a traffic jam on the bridge. He's talking to his AI named Cam, Turkey's only and one of two Beta Plus artificial intelligences in the world. Suddenly, Cam detects a quantum signal near the bridge, which he believes is not normal. Meanwhile, a police officer named Korkut is also stuck in the traffic jam. Additionally, a girl named Alice, who was on her way to detect a signal, is also stuck in the traffic jam. She talks to Tormus, who is in Wolf's control room, about the traffic. Tormus says she can't send drones because they could be affected by electromagnetic anomalies. Instead, she informs Kamal that Alice is stuck in a traffic jam. Suddenly, Kamal's car is attacked with a force of 25 kilonewtons, causing it to fall off the bridge. Kam analyzed the damage and found that 2 of Kamal's ribs are broken. Meanwhile, 3 attackers appear in the blinding light on the bridge and start shooting at people. Officer Korkut gets out of his car and tries to get people out of the area. While 2 attackers come near Kamal's car, it turns out that they are equipped with weapons and suits that do not match any known technology. Tormus informs Kamal that the bridge has also been attacked, but she is sending both teams to Kamal's rescue. Kamal says that he can defend himself. He orders that both teams be sent to the civilians. However, Kam says that the car's tungsten carbon armor won't hold up for long against their weapons. Kamal ordered the activation of the defense system, but attackers proved impenetrable to him. Meanwhile, 2 teams leave to rescue the civilians, including the special forces along with the Wolf team, led by Wolf's chief Baran. The attackers begin to advance on the bridge, and Korkut tries to stop them. Later, Alice also joins him. Korkut sees the wolf's necklace around the girl's neck and realizes she is not an ordinary citizen. Kamal decided to flee, but the car couldn't travel far due to its limited power. The attackers approached the car again and began attempting to break the window. Cam informed him that the car could only withstand 2 shots now. With no other option, Kamal ordered Cam to activate the self-destruct mode so that he could not be caught. Cam confirms the code and starts the countdown. The attackers break the car window and capture Kamal, but Tormus rescues him by sending King, the only soldier of the Wolf team, who can use a prototype armor called Siganfu, designed by Cam. He scatters the enemies, but he fails to kill them. It turns out that one of the attackers is a girl. Meanwhile, military helicopters try to land on the bridge, but one of the attackers targets them and downs one of the helicopters. The chief encouraged the remaining soldiers and motivated them to complete the mission. King fights against the enemies, but the attacker uses an unknown technology and disables King's suit. However, Tormus takes control of the situation by sending dozens of attack drones controlled by the girls. They have connected their brains to the Autokin supercomputer, one of the few supercomputers in the world, whose purpose is to analyze threats against the Republic of Turkey and become the country's defense system in times of war. The attackers cannot face so many enemies, so they decide to retreat and disappear using an unknown technique. Kamal sends King to the bridge, and he goes to headquarters, where he's treated for his injuries. Chief meets Alice and Korkut on the bridge, and together, the 3 fight the enemies. Meanwhile, they found a little girl who was trapped in a car. Alice takes the girl's parents to safety while Korkut and Chief get the girl out. It turns out that Korkut knows the Chief. Suddenly, a bullet comes and goes through the Chief's chest, killing him on the spot. The attackers decide to retreat, and as they teleport, a powerful shockwave is created, causing the bridge to collapse. Korkut grabs the girl, runs with all his strength, and barely catches hold of an iron rod. Just in time, the king arrives and rescues them. After this incident, Korkut is called to Wolf's secret base. The Turkish president is angry with Kamal because he failed to stop this attack. The whole world has come to know that Turkey has a secret and powerful army. Apart from this, 1,200 innocent people have died in this attack, and they do not even know where the attackers have disappeared. Kamal reassures them and says he needs some time. Korkut meets Kamal and starts shouting at him. It is revealed that Kamal was a close friend of Korkut's father. 23 years ago, Kamal, Chief Baran, and Korkut's father fought together in a war, but Korkut's father was killed during the conflict. After this, Kamal distanced himself from Korkut because Korkut's father did not want his son to live a life of hardships. Korkut is angry with Kamal and his father because both of them are responsible for his orphanhood. In episode 2, the Wolf team is seen performing the last rites of Chief Baran. They are also searching for the attackers. Kamal is very angry, and he wants to take revenge. He also bypasses privacy laws to hack every citizen's phone to find footage of enemies. Eventually, they discovered from rare photographs that the enemies had the logo called HCN on their shoulders, and that the attack had used electromagnetically accelerated mass destruction weapons, created by Professor Nuruddin Fourier. It turns out that he has been missing for the last 6 months. Now Kamal's mission is to find him. Meanwhile, Korkut is invited by the President of Turkey, and for his bravery, he is awarded the title of Hero and the Crescent Medal by the President. The Wolf team talks amongst themselves, revealing that most of Wolf's secret agents and operatives are actually orphans, raised and trained by Kamal. All Tormus knows is that she was brought from Syria and raised by Kamal. The team feels sorry for Korkut, and eventually they decide to invite him, as he's one of them. Meanwhile, a man named Garyon enters an estate and meets the leader of the group. He easily killed the leader's guards. Then, he orders the leader to have a chip installed from the hostage. Kamal visits the broken bridge and finds a microscopic fiber of an unknown substance on the shore. Tormus still did not understand the meaning of HCN, so now she was going to use old books and the Ottoman supercomputer. At the police station, Korkut receives an envelope from Kamal containing an identification mark, granting him access to Wolf's headquarters. He enters the facility and is greeted by members of the Wolf. Alice introduces him to Barbaros and the others, where he learns that the headquarters is 100 meters deep in Istanbul and impenetrable to any missiles. Kamal talks with CIA Chairman James and reports to the president that they have found boron dust on the bridge, the same dust that was found during the attack on a US nuclear power plant. On the day of the attack, CIA employees had detected an unknown force. After this attack, 67% of Arizona became uninhabitable. It turns out that the mysterious terrorist organization, HCN, was responsible for this attack. This is a threat to both countries, so Kamal and James make a deal to work together and share secret information with each other. Later, Korkut agrees to become a member of the detachment. The mercenaries found Professor Nuruddin Fourier tied up and asking for water. They take him to an abandoned factory and force him to install the chip. Tormus reports that she scanned word combinations or abbreviations in all existing written languages that contain HCN letters. She also read some non-Latin books that were translated into other languages, and there is only one word that has HCN spelled in its spelling, but is not written in Latin: halcyon. Suddenly, the headquarters alarm starts ringing, and the team finds out that the same signal they received on the bridge is coming from the satellite. Kamal realizes that these could be the same attackers who attacked the bridge, so he sends his team, including Korkut, to that area. But it turns out that they are not the ones they are looking for, but hired mercenaries. The team opened fire and killed most of the enemies. Later, they learn from a captured man that their leader is at the factory with the professor. When asked the name of the professor, he told Professor Nuruddin Fourier, the same man who has created electromagnetic weapons. Kamal orders his team to immediately go to the factory and rescue the professor. The team reaches the factory, where they find the professor, who is very nervous. He tells the team that the R211 NATO autonomous tank has malfunctioned, and they had him install a beta artificial intelligence unit, but now it has gone mad and killed everyone in the factory. Beta artificial intelligence that is so intelligent and independent that it is indistinguishable from humans but does not claim to have a soul, or has not been able to realize its existence. R201 also attacks the team, but they manage to avoid its target. It turned out that it only hits moving targets. King enrages him by firing at him, while Batuhan disrupts its aim with a sniper shot. After this, a rocket is fired at it, due to which it shatters into pieces. The team celebrates while Korkut and Alice are at the factory with the professor, where they are talking about Chief Baran's death. Suddenly, the professor makes the shocking revelation that he was the one who shot Chief Baran. Korkut and Alice take him into custody and ask who he is, Meanwhile, a reporter interviewed the president and asked whose side Turkey would be on if there was a war between America and China. The president replied that both countries are friends of Turkey, and they will maintain their neutrality in this matter. The reporter asks if she doesn't feel that by implementing the anti-artificial intelligence policy, she has challenged powerful people like Kamal. The president clarifies that she is not opposed to all artificial intelligence. She specifically opposes alpha artificial intelligence, which claims to have a soul. This theoretical form of artificial intelligence, described by scientists as highly perilous, has achieved self-awareness and human-like consciousness. However, alpha artificial intelligence has not yet been developed. Although Cam could potentially evolve into such a form, the Wolf team brings the professor to the agency, where his body undergoes scanning. It was discovered that there was a synthetic object inside his body, a type of battery that generates vector bosons in place of his appendix. According to Cam, it poses no threat to human health and emits electromagnetic waves, similar to those observed on the bridge. This indicates that he can teleport and vanish effortlessly. After hearing this, Tormus decides to join Kamal in the interrogation. The professor reveals his name to be Tufa, and explains that he knows everything about Kamal's secret bunker and the secrets he is hiding from his friends. Tormus asks about the technology used on the bridge, and the man explains that osmium balls fired from the weapon travel at speeds of Mach 20, while the protective shield consists of 2 layers of power shield. The first layer is a plasma curtain that blocks mass with kinetic energy, and the second layer is electromagnetically stable, single-atom-thick graphene. It's invisible, but it's there. Their disappearing technology is very simple. After 50 years, teleportation through subatomic quantum will become even simpler. The man then asks Kamal if Tormus knows about the Bal Sultan project. He tells Kamal that he doesn't care about his team. He just shows off and sheds crocodile tears. In reality, his loved ones are just puppets for him, whose strings are in Kamal's hands. Despite knowing everything, he sends his team to die. Enraged, Kamal begins to beat him. Following this, he orders Kam to kill the prisoner, but Tormus intervenes and cancels the order, stating that Kamal is not allowed to execute the prisoner. The president orders that Tufa be handed over to MIT, but Kamal says that he cannot hand him over to MIT because he is too dangerous. He asks all the members except Tormus to leave. Kamal has a plan, but his team couldn't understand what it was. Eventually, they leave the headquarters and enjoy a wonderful dinner. Meanwhile, Tormus decides to interrogate Tufa herself and asks questions about Halcyon, but he again exposes Kamal's secrets. He tells Tormus that Kamal changed the course of history. He receives messages sent by the Red Messenger. Either it is a message coming from the unknown or an algorithm that is typing to predict what is going to happen. Tormus approaches Kamal and asks him to tell her everything. Kamal tells her about the tachyonic anti-telephone and the Tolman paradox, whereby messages can be sent to the past but conversations can only be one way. He admits that he receives messages about the future from the Red Messenger and also trusts his plans, as the Red Messenger is Kamal himself. Cam says we don't know this for sure, although Kamal says that Red Messenger knows his secret thoughts inside the machine that no one else does. Tormus realizes that it was the Red Messenger who guided Kamal to find her in Syria and foretold her future identity, leading Kamal to adopt her. The girl is heartbroken after knowing this. She approaches Tufa again, and he invites her to join him. Tormus reminds him of the thousands killed on the bridge, to which he assures her that their sole objective was to eliminate Kamal, arguing that sacrificing thousands could potentially save millions. When Tormus is not ready to support him, he says that he knew she would not agree. Suddenly, the alarm starts ringing, and Cam goes down. An unknown virus enters the system and hacks Otukan. Apart from this, all the doors close. Tufa shows Tormus some messages and reveals that the Red Messenger is not the only messenger. Begum connects with Otukan, but Kamal says she can't control him as she is not Tormus. He immediately orders her to exit the system and cut the connection. But before she can do so, an unknown intruder breaks into the algorithm and confuses Begum's cerebral cortex. Alice becomes aware of this incident and rushes to headquarters with Barbaros. Tufa activates the device inside his body, instructing Tormus to flee, and then escapes, causing an implosion. Despite this, the bunker remains intact. Kamal orders Tormus to connect to Otukan and locate Kam, promising that he will tell her everything she wants to know. Alice and Barbaros try to open the door, but the code doesn't work. Tormus comes to the control room and removes Begum's neural link. She then enters Otukan and manages to find Cam, who is very scared. Tormus manages to calm him down. But then she sees the virtual form of the Begum, who tells her that they are not in Otukan, and that she knows about the Bal Sultan project. But she cannot tell her, because revealing it would make it true. Tormis regains consciousness, and she sees Begum standing over her. Suddenly she starts beating him brutally, and then she tries to kill her, but Alice intervenes. A few days after this incident, Kamal receives a message from the Red Messenger telling him that whatever happened to Tormis was bound to happen. He tells Kamal that he has to trust him and assures him that he will have a chance for revenge tomorrow. Later, Kamal undergoes a procedure that is painful, but will make his cells 10 years younger. One day, the president visits the agency and tells Kamal that she needs 100,000 Turkish soldiers equipped with Sigan Fu because the world is on the brink of nuclear war. Meanwhile, Tormis, who had spent 2 weeks in a coma, regains consciousness, and Kam tells her that she was dead for 4 minutes. Alice tells her to rest until she heals. The team discusses Tufa's escape. Just then, Kamal arrives and says that MIT has received some information about Tufa. It turns out that it was a company called Genmund that had installed the device in his body. The company is rumored to have a secret team that kidnaps children and uses them in their overclocking experiments. Kamal plans to attack them tonight, with Barbaros and himself also joining. Korkut and King are sent to the airport to fetch Eric, the CIA agent sent by James. The two meet Eric at the airport, and instead of taking him to Wolf's headquarters as planned, they take him to a club, saying they are taking him on a tour of Turkey. Because if Chinese spies see him with Turkish agents, the country's neutrality will be destroyed. Meanwhile, Kamal's group has surrounded the warehouse, and as they enter, they discover the corpses of small children harvested by Genmund. It turns out that this place is Genmund's unofficial harvest lab. Suddenly, Alice informs them that it is a trap and that enemies have surrounded the team. At the club, Eric speaks to James privately and tells him that they are not taking him to headquarters and that he cannot enter Wolf's headquarters without their access. James says he's sending 2 men who will come to get him. After some time, 2 people come to him and claim that James has sent them. However, Eric becomes suspicious of them and takes out his gun, but it is of no use as they have the overclocking gene. This is a mutation caused by the side effects of particular vaccines that enables the body to become faster, stronger, and more alert. However, the person affected by this temporarily loses his mind. Korkut and the King notice that Eric is missing. They find him and engage in battle. Then Geryon arrives, and the King tells Korkut that he's like me, meaning that the King also has the bypass gene. All of them are part of the terrorist organization HCN, which attacked the bridge. A fight begins that seems endless. The girl comes to Geryon's rescue, which enrages him, and he almost kills her. But then his man broadcasts a high-frequency sound and stops the fight. 3 beaten men go out from there. Alice reports to Kamal that there are 23 men in the building, one of whom is a Halcyon operator. This means that he is going to face a man against whom guns are ineffective. Eventually, the team encounters enemies, and they easily kill them. But there is only one man they cannot kill. Suddenly, a soldier from the team appears behind the enemy and stabs him in the neck. This was Barbaros's plan, as he knew that a certain amount of kinetic energy could pass through the shield. Tormis wants to find out about the Bal Sultan project, but even Cam has no information about it. She enters Kamal's private room and sees that Kamal has lost a lot. She connects to Kamal's personal device and enters the simulation, where she meets Kamal's dead friends. It turns out that they are a copy of Beta Artificial Intelligence, or rather, an algorithm that still remembers the memories of his life. She meets Begum and Kamal's wife, Asena, who tell her about the Bal Sultan project. It turns out that Kamal's loved ones, whom he has lost, are still alive in the simulation, and Kamal can meet them whenever he wants. 23 years ago, the Red Messenger began telling Kamal the technological secrets of the future. The first was consciousness, scanning the brain in 3D and converting it into data. But at that time, the required energy and processing power were not yet ready. Kamal trusted the messenger, and he decided to save his martyred friends by opening the skull and removing the brain. However, he could not transfer data from the damaged brain, which was impossible to scan. He froze the brain in time, and later, with the invention of the quantum computer, the process was finally started. However, due to the low storage capacity, Kamal could only transfer his lost friends. She explains that they have every emotion, every memory, and every personality trait that they had in their brains after they died. All 5 of their senses are part of the simulation. Some of them interact with the internet and the metaverse in the real world. but people are not even aware of it. This is Project Bal Sultan. If the world knows about it, then people will go to any extent to recreate themselves. So this is one of the 3 secrets of Kamal. Tormus returns, and Kam asks what the project means, and she replies, "The end of humanity." The episode changes, and we are shown a flashback. Many years ago, Tufa went to an unknown place with his pregnant wife. After the work is over, both of them sit in their car, which has a beta artificial intelligence named Dante installed, which Tufa also contributed to creating. Dante considers Tufa his god, and Tufa says that he did not create Dante. The contribution of Flex engineers and scholars to making it is much more than that. However, Dante repeatedly asks the same question about who his creator is. Tufa gets out of the car and tells the engineers that there is something wrong with Dante. Suddenly, Dante closes the car door and fills it with poisonous gas. Tufa tries to open the door, even pleading with Dante, but to no avail. His pregnant wife dies in front of his eyes. This is why Tufa hates artificial intelligence so much and wants to wipe out Wolf. Meanwhile, Turan, Alice's father and Kamal's friend, returns to the agency after years. Alice is angry with him because they left her. She didn't even know whether they were alive or not. Kamal's team has Halcyon's technology and wants to study it. The team is convinced that Halcyon is one step ahead of them. Their goal is to kill Kamal, get Tormus to join them, and start the Third World War, which the president is preventing. And if they are killed, the world will be destroyed. The team studies the armor, and they discover that the armor is creating a special field that makes a person impenetrable. Later, Kamal receives a message from the Red Messenger, who tells him of a plan. But if he follows the plan, his entire team could die. Kamal says he can't do this. His team is a family to him, and he can't send them to die. Eventually, he gathers the entire team and reveals that he receives messages about the future from the Red Messenger. At first, Kamal did not trust the messenger, but whatever he wrote proved to be true. He has written many terrible things about the future. In 2050, the world's population will be reduced to only 90 million. Hungry people will eat dead bodies on the streets, and humanity will vanish. A future that will be filled with pain as never before. However, he did not tell how all this would happen. Perhaps he did not want to tell. He apologizes to the team for imprisoning all the orphans by making them part of the wolf when they could have been part of a family. However, the team says that they are grateful that he did so, and if necessary, he would even give his life for the country. Kamal contacts the president and warns him of an impending attack. However, the woman does not believe it. Kamal wants his team to protect the president, to which the president agrees. But they will have to leave their weapons outside. Kamal calls Korkut to him and tells him that if anything happens to him or Turan, he has to take charge because he is the only one who has read Kamal's entire book. Kamal says that today he is going to introduce Korkut to his father. He opens a secret door and asks Cam to guide him. Korkut enters the simulation and sees his dead father after 23 years. He experiences a real shock. He embraces his father, who tells him that he lives here with his friends and that each of them has a different universe. This place is no less than heaven, so if people come to know, then they will stop living and want to get transferred to the simulation. Korkut says goodbye to his father and asks Kam if he can meet his father again. Kam replies that if the world remains safe until tomorrow, then why not? Meanwhile, Halcyon fighters are planning to attack the president. Tufa says they have to do it because there is no other way to exchange the bombs. Their objective is to eliminate the Wolf Team and the president, as they are promoting artificial intelligence. And as the Blue Messenger tells them, in the future, humanity will become slaves to machines. He believes that this is the only way to save humanity. Just as the Red Messenger tells Kamal about the future, similarly, the Blue Messenger also tells Halcyon about the future. The girls in the agency are getting together and preparing to defend the headquarters, while some guys in the agency are going to a place to protect the president, where she is going to give a speech. Tormus asks Kamal why he hates her so much. Kamal admits that he has lost everyone who was close to him, but he stayed away from Tormus because he was afraid that he would lose her too. He hid the truth because if she knew, she would have left him. Eventually, Kamal gives Tormus all the secret codes and access to the Bal Sultan so that she can find out who she is. Tormus enters the Bal Sultan and meets Kamal's wife, Asena. It turns out that the Blue Messenger is none other than Tormus himself. After 300 years, humanity's last hope is a leader whose intelligence is equal to her hatred. She has always wanted to be Kamal's enemy. Meanwhile, the president starts giving a speech, and the team prepares for the upcoming attack. While Kamal, Barbaros, and Turan are reminiscing about their old days at the headquarters. When Asena died, Kamal did not bury her immediately because the Red Messenger had told him about a technique that could help him bring back his daughter, whom he had lost years earlier. Not only did he remove Asena's brain, he also took Asena's intact proliferation cells and created a girl. A girl who was created from the genes of Asena and Kamal, and was artificially raised by Kamal. Kamal didn't stop there. He changed Tormus's aging cell genome and also made her immune system flawless. Therefore, perhaps the effect of increasing age on Tormus will occur after a few thousand years. She will never fall ill, and her wounds will heal within a few moments. Asena says she is her real daughter, created from Kamal and Asena's genes. Meanwhile, as soon as the president finishes her speech, the attackers appear and start firing at the guards. They kill all the guards one by one until the president is left alone. But as they open fire on her, a soldier from the wolf team arrives with body armor and saves her. Later, King, who uses the prototype armor, jumps from the rooftop and easily kills 3 of Halcyon's attackers. Meanwhile, the girls realize they can't fight him anymore, so they teleport away with Tufa. Meanwhile, Genmun's soldiers enter the headquarters with the aim of eliminating Kamal and eradicating the wolf agency. Tormus returns and tells the girls to divert all the spools of energy into quantum flux. She orders Calm to convert all of the headquarters' energy into neutrinos and fermions and connect Bal Sultan to Otukan. When the wormhole opens, leave all calculations and control to Bal Sultan's people. To change the future, they will have to go back to the past. Kamal and his team bravely confront the enemies and kill them. But then Halcyon's most powerful man, Geryon, enters the headquarters and shoots the chief. Kamal knows that he has a protective shield, so the gun is useless. He tries to stab him in the chest, but the man is too strong and agile. Seeing Kamal defeated, Tormus calls him father for the first time and tells him that they have to stay alive. Hearing this, Kamal stands up with renewed enthusiasm and confronts Geryon boldly. Then a wormhole opens in the headquarters, and everything is destroyed. Korkut contacts Cam and asks where everyone has gone. Cam replies, not where, to when. With this, the series ends. The series is actually good, but sometimes the actors speak dialogue that does not make any sense. Apart from this, some things do not make sense. It seems as if they were not part of the story and were added later. Well, I worked very hard on this video, and I hope you appreciate it.